Hello, everyone. Welcome to another in a long series of disasters. I already see disaster in the making, my poor camera. Hello, everyone. It's your good buddy, Amigo Aaron, coming at you with another Friday Night Disaster stream. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, checking me out. We've got a real nutty one tonight, and I've been working on this one for a long time. And so tonight I'm going to unleash it on an unsuspecting world. You know, everyone has a dream in the retro gaming community, and that dream is to have the ultimate setup, right? Everyone wants to have all the games, all right? Everyone wants to have games for every system. They want to have even the weird systems. They want to be able to tiptoe through these and just try out every cockamamie thing they can come up with. But here's the problem. Ain't nobody wanting to do the job themselves. Not when you can get some other dude to do it, and you just grab what he did, right? Now, let's get this out of the way early before we jump into this. There's a legal gray area here, and it's not that gray. When you download a fully formed retro gaming image, you are almost certainly pirating a bunch of crap from like 30, 40 years ago, or 10 years ago, or whatever. And so you can't walk the tightrope here. You're either in or you're out, brother. And so I want to say, before we play any of these games, as with every week I've ever done any sort of streaming, I own every game you'll see. I've got buckets of games. They're everywhere. Come over to the house, I'll show you. So you don't have to worry about your good old buddy A being in the legal gray area. I'm in the white, brother. I'm a white knight. And I'm going to be taking you trepidatiously through what it's like to get one of these massive collections and then to install it, and then we're going to play a bunch of games. I'm not going to install it tonight. I'm going to show you the installed product here, and we're going to give you what you've been waiting for, what Boat of Cars demands, buckets of gamate game goodness. So, with all that said, what you're looking at here, and I want to show you about the tools that I'm using here. So, when the screen that you're seeing here with the image, this is in fact a whole separate computer that I have installed a SSD in, and you can see we're gonna boot this thing up the whole 9 yards so you can see what it looks like. But what you've got here is a 2 terabyte image. Now you may be asking yourself, well, Amigo Aaron, where do you get these things? Well, as you know, normally on a show like this, they're gonna be like, search the web, but I'm not gonna do that. There's a web page out there called Arcade Punks. It's a nefarious webpage, and I'll tell you why. They have been known to take other people's work and just stick it on there. And it does happen on occasion. Now, it didn't happen in this particular instance, but I'm going to make sure that you're aware of that, and I can name a couple fellows who did these big images. Now, so here's the $1,000,000 question. If some guy puts together this huge compilation of games, and then he's selling it, is that cool? And is it cool to steal the thing that he stole? Well, you're going into a crazy zone there. Man, who knows? I'm not the man to make that judgment call. But if you're looking for crazy images for your Pi and for other things, you can go to Arcade Punks. Is this the best place to download stuff? No. Is it the speediest? No. Is it sketchy over there? Oh, yeah. You got that right. It's sketchy, buddy. But if you're hard up, that's where you can go. So that's what I did. If you watch the International Computer Club we had a little while back, I watched it, and I saw our good buddy Dave. I'm going to reboot this thing while I'm talking. I saw our good buddy Dave do a talk on these Batocera gimmicks, and I thought to myself, hey, that might be kind of fun. Let's try that. And so, it came to pass, and I thought to myself, I'm not going to settle for some kind of lame 250 gigabyte deal, or not even 1 terabyte. That's for suckers. I'm going for the big dog, the 2 terabyte special. And that's what I did. And what you get for this is a huge image. Now, show of hands in the chat. How many of you have ever downloaded a 2 terabyte image? Raise your hand. I'd love to know if anyone has done that. I don't recommend it, by the way. It took me quite a while to get hold of this thing. And then once I got it, so we have at least one guy in here that has. And once I got it, you have to uncompress the image. This took not an hour, not 10. And this computer that I did it on is my main computer. It's got an AMD, 58 something. I don't know. It's a decent I'd say mid-range processor. To uncompress this thing to a second drive took me, I don't know, 12 hours, I believe is what it took me. It took forever. And then once I had it uncompressed, then it's time to image a drive with this. So how does that work? Well, I had an external USB drive, sort of like this one right here I'm holding in my hand. And it's a pretty fast external drive, and I plugged it in, and I thought, heck, I'll just knock this thing off. Well, I did knock it off, and 24 hours later, it was ready to go. So you're in for probably a couple of days, and I mean, by the way, I've got a super fast account. It wasn't me, it was them. It's as quick as I could get it. Now, your mileage may vary. This is the image I got. This is how I had to get it. You can use news groups, you can use whatever, but this was the quickest way I could get it. It took me about a day to download, and then about a day to uncompress, and then about a day to image the drive, and then I was done. So you're going to be in for a while. They recommended the drive to get, and I went and got that drive, the exact drive that was recommended, and it did work without incident. Now, sometimes you get these images. I've done this many times, and the image is too big to fit on the drive it's supposed to fit on, particularly SD cards. Brutal. That's not a fun feeling when that happens, but that's the way it goes. So what I decided to do was I thought, I don't want to have any sort of speed barriers. I want this sucker to actually play at maximum speed on my computer. So I had an empty slot, an SSD slot in my little computer here, and I stuck it in there, and what you saw there was it booting directly to the computer, or to the hard drive. I've got it set up to where if I want to go to Windows, I can, but who wants to go to Windows when you've got a 2 terabyte ultra image on here? So, before we get too deep, what is this image? Well, certain artists will get together, sometimes they collaborate, sometimes they do it on their own, and they will get together and they will put together a huge image. They'll do all the work. This one was done by a guy named 2Day4, and I believe he also had a partner in here. And then usually there's a lot of trading that goes back and forth with different builds and images and whatnot and art. And so that's how you get that done. Now, I'm going to give you a little tidbit right out of the gate. This item installed on the drive perfectly. It downloaded perfectly and installed perfectly, and I booted up perfectly. I did nothing, okay? The first thing you're going to do is you're going to need to pick you out some controllers. Now, I'll tell you right now, you're going to need one of these bad boys right here. Not this particular one, but a little keyboard or a full-size keyboard, whatever is your pleasure. Because you're going to be using this bad boy to get a lot of stuff done that you can't do on a joystick. The second thing I use, I'm going to bend over and get it here. I learned pretty early on that what you're going to want to have is you're going to want to have a joystick like this. In fact, maybe this exact stick. This is an Xbox One controller, all right? I've got it hardwired in just to be safe. Why this one? Well, originally I tried, just to put something on there to try it, I tried this bad boy, the old Amiga CD32, or the mini Amiga CD32 knockoff, and it worked fine, but the buttons weren't, the pre-mapping didn't work right. And so you're going to end up using a lot of the buttons on this to do stuff. So just in the interest of making sure stuff works, because I have had a little chance to kick the tires on this, I went ahead and brought in a second joystick. I've already set it up. It's this cheapo, but the cheapo has all the controls I need. It's got left and right. It's got, the triggers. It's got everything I need. It's just got as many buttons as this other one does. And so in case we can't get a game to start, I found out that sometimes you're going to want to use the second joystick because the games won't work right with the first joystick. So, you boot this thing up. All right, what do you do? Well, the first thing you do, once you set your joystick up, is just start nosing around. Now, I'm going to give you guys the nickel tour here. We'll start with the TI. We'll go through. One of the reasons I picked this particular build was because of the unusual games that were on here. As you guys know, I do a lot of game playing on oddball systems, And so I wanted to have as many oddballs on here as I could get. So we're going to go through these real quick. And this isn't one of those things where I'm trying to sell you on the software, because that's not what I'm doing. I'm just demonstrating for you what kind of things you're going to get when you get these things and what you could expect. And maybe this is something you're interested in H not. So I'm going to go through the systems real quick, and then we'll try some. So you've got your Texas Instruments TI. Look at this. You got the Thompson, a very unusual system there. Tiger, Game.com, another real oddball. The Tommy Tudor, oddball. They've included some LCD games. This is to Creative Vision. I actually own one of these, and I've got it over here. Oh, no, this is not the one I own. This is the actual, this was the Dick Smith, what was the Dick Smith name of this? The Dick Smith, help me out here, somebody. This is the, this one has two names, but it's sort of like the ColecoVision, as I recall. I can't remember, but the Dick Smith had a version of that. The Wizard, Dick Smith Wizard, that's it. Now, right here, you see the Laser 310. Doesn't have a pie piece. We'll get back to that. You got the Socrates. I own a Socrates. I'm sorry to say. I bought it after we did it on ARG. It was not one of my more brilliant purposes. The V-Smile. The Watara Supervision, another ARG game. The Mega Duck, another one we did. Then you've just got some individual categories here. You know, and these are self-explanatory. I like the fact that they put these in here. Then you've got companies in here as well, which is nice. They've done a good job curating this. Okay, then you've got your Daphne, which is your laser stuff, and then you've got a few more here that are just companies. IGS, which I believe this has some stuff on there, very unusual arcade hardware. Let me get past these to get back down to the individual stuff. So, you've got the AM2 board, arcade board emulated, the Model 3, it's another arcade board. You've got the Sega Naomi, which was the arcade version of the Dreamcast, which I owned one of those at one time. Of course, Neo Geo, a few other here. Nintendo Classics, which usually in that tab, you've got games that were on one of the Nintendo hand, like the Nintendo Mini or something. Then you've just got a few more of these. These are just various company releases. This is probably what was on the Sega Mini. This is an arcade board, the STV. Again, you've got more of the classics. We'll get down past this to get. Then you've got some, these are just itemized, curated lists, which is nice. Don't get me wrong, it's a nice thing to have. I'm not skipping them because they're lame, just in the interest of time. Now, we're getting back to the actual systems here. You got the Acorn Atom. It's not one you see all that often. BBC Micro, the Acorn Electron. So you've really did a good job covering the Acorn there. And you've got the Archimedes. Now, I have tried the Archimedes, and we'll get into my thoughts on how that's going to work. You've got Flash games. You've got the Amstrad CPC. You've got the consoleized Amstrad there. The APF Imagination Machine. We even haven't covered that one on ARG. The Apple II. I've tried this one. I'll give you thoughts. Apple II GS, same thing. You've got your MAME. This is your arcade stuff. Final Burn, more arcade stuff. The Atari 2600. The 8-bits are represented. You've got the 5200, the ST, which I've not tried yet. Atari 7800, the Lynx, the Jag. Look at this. the Lezeblix. I don't know what that is. The Astrocade. The Wonder Swan and Wonder Swan Color. There it is, Boat. The Gamate. You've got the Computer Lynx, which we just did this a couple weeks ago. The Casio PB1000. You've got Pinball. You got the Coleco and the Atom. The Amiga. The PET, which I've had a chance to try that. The VIC-20. The C64. The 128. CD-TV. CD32. This is several builds of Mugen, which is the... this is a fighting game homebrew system that's pretty popular. The Arcadia. You got to have the Arcadia in there. The Adventure Vision, which we covered a long time ago. That's the game Pocket Computer. This right here, the Super Cassette Vision. I've got one of these on the shelf behind me. The Channel F, the Fairchild Channel F, the Pico 8. I believe the Pico 8, someone correct me. Isn't this the, I know the guys on Pixel Gain are always talking about the Pico 8, I think. This is that sort of like imagined computer, right? Somebody stop me if I'm wrong here. The Wasm 4, the Fujitsu FM7, the FM Towns. By the way, we had a heck of a time emulating this back when we did the FM Towns show, and we've avoided the FM Towns like the plague. The Super Acan, which we did cover that. In fact, we played that exact game that's being shown. the GP32, which is the handheld from Korea. I've got the successor to this, the GP2X. I'm surprised they found enough games for this. The Game Master. Here's another one without a piece. This is the VC4000. Scum, of course, Odyssey 2. Intellivision, Vectrix, MSX, DOS, Sam Coupe. These are screenshots you would take yourself. The PC88, the PC98. I've never tried these, by the way, those two. PC Engine, PC CD-ROM, Super Graphics, PCFX, NES, Game Boy, Super Nintendo, Virtual Boy, N64, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Pokemon Mini, the DS, the 3DS, the 3DO, the European version of the Odyssey 2, which again doesn't have a piece, the Philips CDI, and then these are right here. You get into like culminations of one game that had a bunch of different versions. So like the Beats of Rage, you have to see that. Ports, these are ports usually from the PC. I'm not sure what that is, to be honest with you. Adam's Way, that's just another type of games. SG-1000, the Master System. I know this is going on for a while, but we won't go through the whole list again. The Mega Drive, the Game Gear, the Sega CD. Of course, we mentioned the AM2, the Model 3, Dreamcast, Naomi. The Sharp X1, which me and Britt tried that. The 68000, the Z81, ZX81, the ZX Spectrum, Neo Geo, Neo Geo CD, Neo Geo Pocket, Pocket Color, PlayStation 2, the Coco, and we're back to TI. Woof! So that's a heck of a list. Now, yeah, you're right, Del Morte. The Pippin not represented. But then again, show me a game on there. Make a case for any game that you want to play on that. Now, if you're like me, you look at that list and you're like, my God, this is the mother of all collections. It can't get any better. Okay? So, now, I'm right there with you, except they have to work. All right? There's the caveat. You've got some real oddball stuff in here. How's it going to work? How does it work? You know, so we're going to start off easy, and then we'll work our way to the insanity, okay? So I'm going to flip around here at the beginning of the list, and I'm going to take a request, too, if you're interested in seeing stuff. But I want to preface this by saying the following. There is no one-stop shop for this many systems. A lot of the guys that put these collections together are guys who, guess what? They may not be too skilled on the BBC Micro, all right, or the Archimedes. They put them in here. Maybe it boots, maybe it don't. Maybe they check it, maybe they don't, and then they're gone, right? And you're not getting support on this crap either. So you're pretty much on your own to figure it out. So we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna pick something real simple here. We're going to go to the Atari 2600, okay? I'm going to click on the 2600, and now you've got your games list here. Now, I've found these games lists to be fairly well curated, okay, for the most part. But what I mean by that is sometimes you get these collections that they have a million of the same thing, okay? This doesn't have that, but occasionally you will see duplicates. And also, you'll notice that the interior menus are not as attractive as the main menus. And we'll get to that in a second. There are some interesting elements to this Batocera that are merit of a look, and we'll get to that in a second. But right now, we're just going to try to load up a game here. So, you can see there's a ton here. I'm just going to load up one that I haven't tried any of these. But I'm going to load a game that I know how to play. Okay, so we're going to load up Asteroids, all right? You guys will tell me if the volume's too loud or whatever. I mean, I'm sure you're getting a little bit of volume. So, when you set the joysticks up, you sort of pick the buttons you want to control everything. So, I've already set all my buttons up, so I'm going to click on this, and here we go. Now, in Asteroids, on the Atari 2600, what buttons do you need? All right, well, you need the reset button, the black and white button, you know, the difficulty switches, stuff like that. Where are they? Well, you don't know. Sometimes they'll list those with the game, sometimes they won't. Now, you'll notice this is in a widescreen format. Okay, I'm going to show you how to load this up and not that. But so far, every game I've tried comes up like this. I'm sure there may be a mass way to do this, but I haven't seen it yet. Let me switch scenes here. Okay. Actually, that's not going to work. We're going to want to keep it here. So, I've got my joystick here. So now I'm going to try the old figure out which button it is. So we're going to try, one of these buttons will probably be the right button, probably start or reset, which is neither one of those. So we're going to go through all the buttons and see which one starts the game. This is the puzzle you will do on every game you play when you start these games out. So now, nothing on that joystick started the game, so I'm going to start on this joystick. What button will these buttons do? There we go. On joystick 2. And now we're playing. The Atari 2600 is one button. And so, that's no problem. You can play one button game. And you can see anything, I mean, you can emulate the Atari 2600 on practically anything, and it works okay. By the way, it's a good version of Asteroids Overlooked. All right? And everything's working fine here. Now, when you're ready to leave a game, you hit a button combination, okay? The button combination I've chosen is the home key and the start key at the same time. That will take you back to the main directory, okay? So, we know that works. All right? That was okay. Now, what if you're thinking to yourself, man, I sure don't like that looking like that. Okay, I've learned a few tricks here. I'm going to hold the select button down. I'm not just going to press. I'm going to hold it. Now, you get this. This gives you certain things that you're going to need to know. This is from holding the start button. I'm going to pick the advanced options here, and here you've got the game aspect ratio 4:3. Simple. Go back down here, bam, and then we try it again. And in theory, this should be in 4:3. And it is. And so there you go. So that's how you do that. Now, is there a way to do this on every ROM? Probably. I haven't looked into it enough, but that's how you do it on the individual ROMs. All right, so you're probably going to see a lot of stuff. I'm not going to do it every time we do one of these, but you're probably going to see some stuff stretched out and whatnot. So there you go. That's a simple game. A simple game on a simple system to understand. Okay, we can all agree that the Atari is a very simple system. Let's try something a little more complex. We're going to try a computer. Now, I'm going to try the Apple II. Now, I know this is not going to work, but I want to show you what I'm talking about here. So, I'm going to click on Apple II. You've got a goodly amount of games on here, but we're going to pick something that's real simple that we've all heard of. So, I'm just going to go through here until I see something that I've heard of that I know is simple, and then we're going to try it. All right, Archon. Archon 2 Addict. Love that game. So, I'm going to click the button and watch what happens. Okay, do you see that message? It says the emulator core doesn't support this game's file format. Do you want to launch it anyway? Sure. What could go wrong? This is a pre-made 2 terabyte wonder. Well, here you are. Time to play the game. What do? I don't know. It's because there's no ROM in here, man. So, I suspect that what they've done here is just piled a bunch of ROMs in here that this emulator doesn't like. Now, what you can do is I'm going to hold the select button again. Here we are back here. I'm going to go down here to advanced game options, and you do have the choice of which emulator you want to use. You can see the ones we've got selectable here. We got GS Plus, Libretto, MAME, and MAME. I'm going to try MAME, okay, just for fun. We'll try it. We'll go back down here. So this is, if you find a system where the game's not working, and you want to try it again, you can try it. But that right there tells me that there's one of two things wrong. Either they've put the ROMs in the wrong spot, or the emulator doesn't know how to find them, or they're not the correct ROMs. And you can see that didn't even work at all. So I've tested a couple systems here that just straight up don't work. And so that's going to be something that needs to be dealt with. Well, how do you deal with that? Well, that's a whole other story, and we'll get to that in due time. So I want to show you also, this is sort of important, when you first boot this thing up, what do you do here? Well, a thing will pop up on the screen that looks like this. Not that. If you hit the right button, it looks like this. Controller mapping. This is what will come up. It's going to say, hey, I've detected 2 controllers. I'm going to go ahead and reconfigure a controller. So you'll hold the button down, and then you get this. In case you ever wondered how this stuff was set up, it looks very familiar, right? If you've used the Pi, you know, it's the exact same shtick. Now, left, right. Give me a second here. I'll do this real quick. Yeah, don't want to screw these up. Left trigger, right trigger. And there we go. And then you're ready to go. It's that simple. Now, what you can do is, you see the player assignments here. Player 1 can always be this, and player 2 can always be that. That's what we're going to do. That's how you do that. So if you're interested on how that works, there you go. Now, let's get back to the gaming here. Now, I want to show you a couple interesting things. Let's try Daphne here. Now, Daphne is your Laserdisc emulator. You don't have it's not a complete list, but they've got a decent amount of games here. I'm going to load up Dragon's Lair. Everyone knows, hey, what's up, Explorer? Everyone knows these games can be goofy to emulate because the button, Daphne has sort of its button layout hardwired in. So here we are. By the way, we're at full screen again. So how do you start this one? You put credits in? No, it doesn't start like a normal game. It's got its own button configuration. So we're going to have to figure out what it wants. There we go. Even though I set that up for player 1, it wants this joystick. This is what I was talking about. So we're going to... Now, I want you to watch this game because I played this the other day, and it didn't run that well, and it also straight up crashed. Daphne is one thing I have quite a bit of experience with. I mean, I was around when that emulation first came out, so this one I've actually fooled with quite a bit. It's a mixed bag, TSI Matt. I want to get to this point where it actually crashes. Of course, maybe it won't. I would not call this running smoothly, and I think what's happened here, and probably it was a safe saving measure, because these tend to be pretty large files. I would wager they used fairly low-end video files. Because and what happened to me when it crashed was that it lost the track. Physically, the emulator couldn't figure out what was going on. Like, it was like, where's this at? It wasn't there. I'll give this a second if it doesn't crash. By the way, if there are systems you would like to see, maybe you're interested in getting this image and like, hey, how does this run this or that? Throw a couple out there and I'll try those straight away. I'm more than happy to try them. It crashed on me at the scene where you have to fight the anvil. See how jumpy it is? Real jumpy right there. Believe it or not, Boat, I have tried that one, so I'll be more than happy to try it for you. Too slow. Too slow. See, when your video gets jumpy, you got a problem. Okay, here's where it crashed on me last time. Let's see if it does. It worked this time. So who knows? But I'm not happy with the way this one runs. If we've got Mach 3, I'll try it, Rob. I didn't even look. So anyway, there's that. Up, here we go. Here it is. See, I haven't done anything. It just died right there. So I would say that needs a little bit of attention. Is what I would say on that one. Now we're going to try to actually get out of this. This is something else. Sometimes it don't run. You have issues. So I'm going to try to hit escape here and get out of this. There we go. That's why one of the reasons you need a joystick standing by, because that does happen, or the keyboard. Oh, let's see here. They do not have Mach 3 on here, which that, by the way, is a tragedy because that's the best. That's the best of the laser gates, in my opinion. So sorry about that, flag. So Bo was asking about the Socrates. Let me roll down to it. I don't know. You can get through these fairly quickly. They're in some sort of order, I believe, but I couldn't tell you exactly. Tell me if I pass it, by the way. There it is. The Socrates is a sort of an educational console. We played this. This has showed up a couple times on Thanks for Giving. This is a real oddball thing to have, to be honest with you. We will try state to state. Let's see if that works. Now, this would require a keyboard and a controller, as I recall. And there you go. And I'm wagering that this is running on MAME. Sometimes when you could tell by just hitting tab. See? So that was me hitting tab, and look at that. I can go in there. They're just using MAME to run it. And so we will go to we'll pick number 5. Enter. And then so I'm using the keyboard here on this one. The Socrates has a built, or not a built-in, it's a removable touch keyboard. It's horrible, by the way. Horrible keyboard. And we're off. And this has, I don't know if you're getting it, but this has got the sound. This state's capital is Little Rock. Okay, so now we're supposed to pick the state we want it to be. Let's see if I use the joystick or the keyboard here. Let me see here. Oh, here we go. We use the keyboard. So this should be Arkansas. Time's up. Yeah, West Virginia's looking a little rough. That's for sure. But yeah, so this one's working, Boat. I've tried 2 games on here, and both of them work. So I will say the Socrates looks good. And like I mentioned, hi, Dave, you could always hit, for the ones that have MAME, you can always just go through and do the MAME stuff to it. You know, so you hit the old tab button, and it comes right up. So we're going to pop out of here. And so that we're going to give that one a pass. Let me look here and see if I missed anybody that requested anything here. FM7. No, I will try that and the FM Towns. Actually, listen. I'm here to try stuff, and also if you've got any questions that I can answer. Well, while we're here, you saw this empty slot right here, right? A horrible eye sore on these things, and what's happened is normally on these someone has mislabeled a piece of art. Okay, but I want to show you guys something that you can do here. I'm going to hit. So we're going to go into the settings here for the user I believe it's the user interface. I believe is where you go. Yeah. So we've got all different sorts of themes. So this theme is the Scotty Retro. But let's just try the Alec Full Art Flicks. All right, we're going to try that one. And now we've got that one. So this is a whole different setup. Now see, he's got it in his. And so we can go through these. We'll see if he's got any missing ones here. But it's that quick to change the look of it. So he also had the video pack. So clearly he's done it right. Now there are ways to go in there and put the art and change the art, or because I looked to see if the art was there, and it was. But I don't know. I haven't found the place you go to find what the art is supposed to be named. And I haven't had enough. I got this at the worst times, you guys know. So I really haven't got to spend a ton of time with it. But you can see this one has all the has everything on it. And I'm going to click on one of these, and we'll see what it looks like, because often they look different inside the. Oh, look, he is missing those 3. So that's a perfect. Okay, so actually, right through here, he's missing quite a few, including Nintendo. How'd that happen? So we're gonna go into Model 3 and see what hit. So he's actually got. You can see in here, he's got actual logos for all his. I wonder if that goes with something like with the system. Let's go up here to a system and see if that carries over. Here we go, the Mega Duck. If he's got logos for all these, I'll eat my hat. I'll be darned. Where's my hat? That's a stunner. So someone took the time to make Mega Duck icons. I'll give him credit. So anyway, that's how you do that. Pretty simple to do. You just go in there and change the interface, and it's quite easy. I'm going to go back to the original. And so we're back here. So, and I'm going to show you something else you can do here that's neat. So one thing I like about this, and again, maybe you're used to this. I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but you can hit the button here, and you see something here called updates and downloads. This is sort of important. I'm going to click on this. So you can actually update your Batocera here, but if you try to do it, it's going to tell you, hey, listen, this Batocera has been messed with in a custom way, and if you update this, you're going to screw it up. Now, on the Pi, I've had images I downloaded, and when I tried to update them, it ruined the image. It wouldn't work anymore. So I would recommend you not do that. Do not do that. However, you can do this. You've got the content downloader, and so what shows up in here are various different things you can download. Like, these are bezels, but there's also games in here that show up sometimes. Let me scroll down. Like, here are 2 Commodore 64 games. Just a Dreamcast game. Here's some Game Boy games. So if I want to download Into the Blue, okay, I click on it. I hit install. It downloads it. You can see it in the corner. Bam, we got it. You can also get different music, different themes for the software. I think that's quite good. Here's the open Beats of Rage, where Beats of Rage is sort of the open source. It's sort of the museum of beat 'em ups. So you can download some different versions. So those are updates. I thought this was quite neat. I was a real fan of this. Also, you can also download themes from there. The rest of this, that's pretty self-explanatory. So let's go back. Someone asked about the FM Towns, our old nemesis. Now, I will say, FM Towns is actually one of the first things I tried. Now, why? Because I knew such a pain in the butt it was to get it to work. And I was like, let's see if they could pull this off. So we're going to click on that. And then here's, I tried Alone in the Dark. And I can tell you it does work. So let's try something a little more advanced. Let's try Viewpoint. Okay, Viewpoint. It's a game I play on Neo Geo. So I've got it on there. I'm going to click it, and let's see it. Now it's going to be full screen, by the way. So just a warning. Okay, there it is. Now in the last one, I didn't have to do anything. It just worked. This is, listen, Oram, it's a custom numbered. I don't know how much he took and how much he was all him. It's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. So we're going to start the game. By the way, you notice I didn't have to do anything. And we're in. That's the way I want my FM Towns and my FM Towns Marty emulation to be. This is what I want. I don't want any. I just wasted 2 of those. I don't want to have to do any crap. I just want it to work. It's a tough game, but I always enjoyed it. Brent thinks this game's a total gimmick. He might be right. But I like the gimmick. I mean, it does demonstrate the graphic abilities quite a bit. Die. My God. I'm 1 minute in. But you can see that worked fine. It's working perfectly with the joystick. I didn't have to do anything. And there we go. So I'm going to back out of that. So there we go. And now you also mentioned the FM7. I haven't tried anything here. So me and Brent played this on the show once. Let's just try something I've heard of here. I think Brent picked Flicky, now that I see that. Let's see here. Oh, here we go. Minor 2049er. Let's try that. And hopefully I don't have to do anything. I don't know how long it's going to take to load. If it loads, we're going to give it a minute. Bam! There we go. That's what we like to see. Now let's see if we can start the darn thing. Most of these, after they go through this part, they'll just start when you hit buttons. So we'll see what happens. We may want the other joystick. You may want something on the keyboard. Yep. Okay. I hit enter. I'll hit one player. And we'll see if it works. Press return. This one may use the keyboard, in fact. Let's see if it does. So let's try something here. We're going to hit tab. Okay, this was running out of MAME. Simple. So all we'll have to do is go down here to input settings. Let's see what it's got the input settings as. Joystick 1. Yeah, that. Oh, let's set that up the way we want it here. Oh, that's the way it had it. Where does it say start is? Let's see what we did wrong here, because this should work with a stick. I paused it, by the way, with P. Don't know. I'm sure that's what we could get working, though, because we've got access to MAME. So, no big deal. Again, on these computers, you got to do a little work. Yeah, I bet, Spinny. So, I'm going to call that a win with a little bit of extra. And you're going to get some of that when you use these. Some of the stuff's going to require you to mess around. Let's see what else we can get into here. This is a game. I've got this system, but oh yeah, we're gonna try that too. We'll do that next pish. This is the Super Cassette Vision. Our old buddy Roshi sent me this. God, I love Roshi. I miss him so much. I wish he would come back around sometime. And he sent me one of these. He sent it to Brent one time after we covered this on the show. And it is neat, but ours needs a little bit of work. So we're just gonna pick something at random here. We'll do Mappy. Pick that. Try this one out. All right, now you can see this is using some Cockamate emulator, and you can see how it came up. Again, it's widescreen. What's up, Pack Billy? So now we've got to see what starts the game. Okay, I see right now we're gonna have a problem. Okay, this one has the ability, if I hit the X button, to do the things on the thing. So we're gonna hit the bat, and then we're gonna hit 1, I believe, and there we go, and 1 again, and that should do it. Now, you saw how that was running? That didn't look right. So let's see how it plays. Yeah, it's running at ludicrous speed. This is probably something that can be dealt with, but you're gonna have to, you're gonna have to do it yourself. This one is not one. This emulator is not the one you're used to. So probably what you'd have to do is go look up the emulator and then try to figure out how to slow it down. This is gonna happen. Let's try another one and see if that's happening across the board on these. Here, let's try Minor 49 on this one. But that did come right up. Yeah, it's snappy. Are you kidding me? This is another game that got poured into a bunch of crazy systems. I'm always surprised where it turns up. So, again, we're going to hit this. Hit the 1 button. That little thing's built into the console, by the way, in case you were wondering. Here we go. Oh, this is running perfectly. Oh, look at this. This looks nice, too. I don't know if you guys can hear the sound effects, but they're working. Everything's working fine. So maybe that map is an anomaly. Maybe there's an incorrect setting in there. Who knows? But it's something you're going to have to deal with. Oh, there you go. So there you go. I'm going to call the Super Cassette Vision a winner. That's a winner. Now, someone asked about the 68,000 Pishbot. Let's go have a look. Down here, we can get down to it. Don't let me miss it, everybody. Here we go, right here, the X68000. Now there are tons of great games for this, obviously, and this I have a feeling this will be okay. So let's go down to something that's easy to play. Man, there's a lot of freaking puzzle games on here. Let's see here. So much of this I've never seen. Oh, there was a Dungeon Master 2. Let's see here. Daraball. Last Battalion. Sounds good to me, man. This is one thing they really haven't done. They haven't really fully supported on the Mister. So, of course, they don't have it. Sorry, man. Let's try the first shooting game I see that looks fun. Macross. Let's try this. So I've just hit the button, nothing else. Okay. Beautiful. I'm going to hit the start button here. That did not work. So I'm going to try to hit the start button on this joystick. That did not work either. So now we play the game. Let's see what starts the game. Uh-oh. See? This is what happens when you play the game. Sometimes you play the game and that happens. Okay, so I've now pushed every button on this stick with no action. So we'll push, well, except for that. We're going to push every button on this. Now, it could also be a keyboard button at once. F1, 1, space bar. Nothing's working. So when you get something like this, we all know what you're going to have to do. Figure it out, and which is a pain. So I'm going to show you something you can do here. Let's back out of this. Now, let's say that happens to you. You're like, dadgummit, I'm going to hold down the A button again. I'm going to go down here to the advanced game options. We'll turn this on, and then we'll see if we can if it will let us switch emulators. I didn't see it may not have an option for switching. I did not see an option for it. So if you don't have an option, guess what? You're stuck with that one. Let's try another one and see if they're all doing it. Let's try Mappy again. Again, I wouldn't call this a deal breaker, but what you got to figure out how you make it work. So, oh, there we go. I just hit A. It started up perfectly. There you go. This looks great, by the way. And we're off. And this looks like it's running at the proper speed. Everything looks real good. Look at that. The computer you get is a 68,000. So I'm going to call the 68,000 working with maybe some minor issues. But that worked okay. That worked no problem. This would be a fun system to own, but they're expensive and not the easiest things to do if you don't speak Japanese. So it makes it a little more difficult, as so many of these systems are. Just for fun, we'll clear the board. I think. Here we are. All right, that's a winner. Let's try something really goofy. How about the Sharp X1? Like, no one plays this. So let's go. Let's try American Truck. That sounds like it might be fun. I've hit the start button. We'll see if this is going to work or not. Okay, I don't have any idea what that means. I was getting worried for a second there. Oh, there we are. American Truck. I hit the A button. I think that started it. Okay. I just hit the A button again. And I think we're in. There we go. American Trucker. Running quite nicely. Oh, man, traffic. Oh, God, there's bombs going off. What's happening here? I went off the road. Yeah. Okay. Good question, Dave. So, you can access your Batocera drive through FTP or through your Windows. You basically FTP into your Batocera. And they have not monkeyed with the password or whatnot. And when you do that, you've got access to all the ROM folders and the image folders. Now, then we get into the fun-filled world of naming nomenclature and formatting and the kind of format the pictures have to be in. Because if you just add a ROM, and it may look horrible. Oh, man, I hit the skid there. It may not have a picture or a logo. You may not care. But, I mean, adding ROM's not tough. That's easy. Adding the appropriate auxiliary items, the assets as they're called, that can be a trifle. It always is with these sorts of things. When I started getting into these package deals, the first thing I ever used was GameX, and I built that myself. But you know, when you start from scratch, you can get used to it. But this one, I'm not used to it yet, but I'll get there. I'm gonna say X. I'm gonna try this one. I think this one's working. Try this one more time. If there's anything like in the game or system, think about all the colors of the rainbow. If there's anything you'd like to see, I'll give it a whirl. If you got any questions, I will try to answer them. I think I've hit most of the basic stuff. This is an odd. This thing loads strangely. It's funny to me how I guess it's still okay. I assume it's actually loading at this point, loading the game up. I don't know if anybody here's got any experience with this particular system. It's taking its sweet time. This could be an awesome game, or it just could be not working. The problem. We'll give it a second. Hey, has anybody in here ever downloaded anything from Arcade Punks? Don't be embarrassed. Or has anyone tried? I assume a lot of you have tried stuff on the Pi, is my guess. I think I keep seeing that number come up, so I'm guessing this is we're boned. All right, I'm gonna say this is a dud. So your mileage may vary on this one. That's the Sharp X1. Let's see what we got here. Oh, the Sega SC3000. Oh, was that? I didn't know. I don't know if I even saw that. Let's look. Yeah, and you could, I should have mentioned this, but this thing is running with Linux. Did I mention that? And so it uses all the Linux. It behaves as Linux would. So I guess I don't know if that helps. So let's see if we can find the Sega system he was talking about here. By the way, I should also mention that just because one of these or several of these are missing the pictures, that doesn't mean that they don't work. That means they just don't have a picture. So it looks like we've got the 1000, but not the 3000. Well, while we're here, let's try one. I'm not sure I know what the 3000 is. Start Congo Bongo. Now, this shouldn't be too tough to emulate. This should work okay. 128 gig Pi, yeah. All right. You've had some... Look at this. There we go. One thing I like is the old Sega stuff. They really... I mean, this thing wasn't going to pull off, oh, God. It wasn't going to pull off Congo Bongo, so they just kind of made up their own game and called it Congo Bongo. Ah! Get off me. Oh! Oh, no kidding, Arcade Ages. I didn't realize they'd computerized the 1000. Well, this is sort of the same difference then, I guess. Me and Bo played the SD1000 on ARG long ago. We really enjoyed it quite a bit, actually. This is sort of in 3D. Get off me. Here we go. Look at Congo Bongo. Looks rough up there. Holy smokes. So it's sort of like the Aquarius. It's the Aquarius of... Man, what... I hate the... I'm sure that's not a very nice thing to say about it. It's a computerized... It's a console that turned into a computer. Okay. I can find this quite attractive, actually. This is nice. Oh, you jerk. That's a worker. I think the SD1000 is good to go. Good to go. Let's see what else we've got here. Let me skip back here and see what I missed. Oh, you know what we haven't tried here, and I wanted to point this out. You may have seen that this has DOS, MS-DOS. Now, you're thinking to yourself, holy smokes, we're in business. It's got all this DOS stuff. I tried a few of these DOS games. They're what you call a mixed bag. All right, so I'm going to load up a random one. We're going to try Carmageddon. Everybody loves Carmageddon, right? Now, this is something I've never seen before until this build. This may be common, but I've never seen it. Once you start the game, then it's time for you to dig up the file to start the game. Now, this starts the game. And so we're going to assume that the sound and whatnot and the joystick have been set up. But we don't have any way to know. So we're going to click on that. And bam. Now I've got analog keyboard on the left stick for whatever reason. And we've got to try to find out which button actually does stuff. So the button is the left button. So the button scheme on this is no good. But we'll just see if we can get it to work. Enter name. So we'll just hit enter. This is a game I used to play a lot back in the day. A lot of fun. When it comes to these DOS games, the adage your eye mileage may vary is very apropos. Now see, that's nice and smooth. Look at that.
3, 2.
Now let's see where the gas and stuff is on this thing. So they're not there. So I've got there's the onboard keyboard. So as I recall from playing this back in the day, you can assign your keys. So this is what I'm talking about. When it comes to these games, don't expect them to have pre-set up the joysticks because it ain't gonna happen. I've tried several of these with the exact same results, but we'll try another one here. Let's try. Oh boy, I mean, there's a ton of these. Let's try Gods. Here we go. We're back to this again. So we're just gonna run Gods. So you sort of have to know what you're running. There it is. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it's actually playing the music. Turn it up a little bit. It's an easy way to support DOS games, Flack. All you do is put the directories on there and have this thing point to the directory, and you're in business. So here we are, and we're going to see it. So right now, so far, and yes, this is working. See if we get button support, and we do. So this right here, if you want to downgrade your Gods playing from the Amiga, you can come over here and play the DOS version. This is working perfectly, though. It's running well. I've noticed that they've got some hot, like, let me show you one of the games that is difficult to run in DOS. I'll show you. And anyone that has fooled with these things will know what I'm talking about. Let me find it here. Right here. Screamer. Screamer is a arcade. This game blew my mind when it came out back in the day. We're going to start it in high res. That's what the start H is. I don't know if they've done any sort of memory management. I don't know anything. But here we are. This game was a real tough to get to navigate. It was never easy. The people that made it were out of their minds. So let me see. So I've had to hit the start button to move forward on that one. Oh, did I pick one that has manual? I didn't mean to do that.
1. Go!
Uh-oh. I don't know how to drive a manual. Whoops. Hold on a second, everybody. No. Let me pick one that has that. I need a stick. Try that again. There we go. I didn't realize you could just pick one that would just add to automatic.
2.
Now, this is your... Someone has went through and configured this one for the Xbox controller. I'm using my right my right trigger for gas. And you can actually switch views and stuff as well. Now, I know you're probably thinking to yourself, my God, look at all that draw on. But I mean, this is the way this game ran nowhere near this good for me when I tried to play it on my old computer.
Just what I want to see.
So here you go, and you've got the ability to change your view. But I mean, that's not an easy game to run, and it runs real well. Now, I mean, this stuff should run real well. It was made to run on a 486, and it's running on like a mega machine. But still, it's nice when it works, and it works right. Oh my God. This is probably one a lot of people haven't seen run at full strength for a long time.
You can let him get away with that?
That guy's a jerk. When I first saw this game, I was like, my God, the PC finally has something that it doesn't embarrass me when I show it to my console buddies. I was very impressed. Of course, on my computer, it was embarrassing. It ran like garbage. Anyway, there you go. And I'm exiting all these with the exact same exit that you would expect. So you've got a lot of good DOS choices here. Slipstream, I remember playing that a lot too. Star Control 2, Star Trek, the Star Wars stuff. Dark Forces, which is a great game. You know, it's got some old stuff. It's got some new stuff. I assume I don't have a mouse. Actually, I do have a mouse here. What's a DOS game that needs a mouse? Something like Arkanoid or something. Let me see what I can find here. We'll try to see if the mouse works. Battle Chess, that'll work. Brent's favorite. So I'm gonna wake up my keyboard here, and we'll see if this works for the mouse. Now I haven't set it up either. So we're gonna run that. Well, I didn't like that. See, this is my point. None of this stuff has been. Oh, here we go. Mount. We gotta mount that. It won't let me mount it, and so Battle Chess is boned. So this is one that has not been fully vetted. Not even close. Z, we don't have it. So there you go. I don't know if we're off the top of my head. Oh, I think Warcraft will let you use a mouse. Let's try that. And I'm sure you could go through here and put a more agreeable version of Battle Chess on here, and it would work. Or you could, I don't know why it won't let you mount that CD, but again, shouldn't be your problem. So I'm going to try to use the touchpad here. Now, I haven't set this thing up. Let's see if it works. And it does work. And you can see I'm using the touchpad, so that's good to know. So you will be able to use this. I mean, again, the mouse of your choice. I don't think you are limited to using that. I mean, you know what I mean. I just bought this cheap. There's no great shakes to it. It's just a USB device. So let's exit out of here. So there's DOS for you. You get some good titles in there, for sure. Let's just a few nitpicks. Vectrix, none of these have the overlays work on. I don't know how to turn them on, so that's something I've got to look into. But the games do work. I'm trying to think of some other ones that I've tried here. We might as well load up an Amiga game while we're sitting here. Why not a CD32 game? They've probably got the full width and breadth of the library here. We'll load up the Lotus Trilogy. That's a good question, though, Rom. And I would probably be something on a PlayStation or the Dreamcast. I'll look and see if I can find something. And don't worry about it. I read spelling incorrectly just to make people feel good. I think this disc is worth a few bucks these days. I hear something happening, but I don't see anything happening. See if I can just skip to the actual game here. It's funny, I don't think I've tried any Amiga on here, so here we go. I guess I've somehow chosen the first one. Wow, they didn't have their orchestra hit. I think we're going to be okay on this, if I'm honest. Oh, crap. I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, this looks fine. Trying to figure out which button switches gears. Might be down. Here it is. The button switches the gears, and the joystick is up and down for gas. But that's working. That looks fine. I'm partial to the second one, but this one has its charms. I like the PET aspects of this. There's some of the other stuff I like that they took away from the second one for whatever reason. So there you go. Looks like CD32 will be okay if that's your bag. They got a goodly selection of stuff here. That's for sure. You know, I never would have guessed that they had this much for the CD32. Your CD TV titles, including everyone's favorite. Also, I'll see if it, just for fun, we'll see if it loads up. In the interest of making sure everything works. I would not, if I was Commodore, there's no way I would have put my name on this game. So we do have mouse support here. Oh, man. I don't think we want to play this, but you can if you want. Let's just let it start. Yeah. That's probably the most impressive thing in the game. You may be interested to know that they went out of business almost instantly when this game horrible. I'm just waiting for the film to start. Let's go. King Athel. What's up, Super Tech Boy? We're playing your game, brother. Just as horrible as I remember it. Oh, God. No. I can't imagine what that would look like. Just think about, if you haven't seen this game before, it's like that video, except that's the whole game. As much as I'd like to show you the part where she kicks the dude in the groin, we're gonna move on. But we're gonna say that that's working. Oh, this, I will say, this is great on the CD-TV, the Xenon 2 Mega Blast. If you're gonna play anything on it, try that. Okay, let's get to some more advanced systems here. So for the most part, I mean, it's been okay. I mean, there's some work to be done, but it's been okay. Now we're going to try to tax the system, something more challenging. Let's see what's in here. Oh, shoot. And so these are just what you'd think they would be. Lots of Quakes, lots of, you know, indie stuff or clones or whatnot. Well, that. Theoretically, this could play that. I don't think those ROMs are floating around, as I recall. So let's try something from the Model 3. No, let's try something from Naomi. This is a step up. This is the arcade system that was the same as the Dreamcast. Let's find a good racing game here, and hopefully the controls will be okay. I know there was a really good one in here. Ikaruga's in here, great game. Of course, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, probably the #1 game that was released. Everybody's pretty popular anyway. Me and my brother had a Naomi, and we sold that thing for good money. And this was years ago, so if I still had it, we'd be laughing for sure. What was that? Hey, wait a minute. Doesn't this have, something just occurred to me. This has that really fun trucking. Yeah, this. We did good on that thing, the Brent. We paid for the entire arcade machine with the money we made. So here we go. This is running on the Naomi. We'll see how it does. This was a... This is how this would be. This is not consoleized, so it's on free play. We're gonna hit the start button. It worked. Okay, we're gonna pick a character. Okay, the analog stick's working. Whoa, I know who I'm picking. Bam. We're gonna hit A. That worked. Okay, so that's good. Skip with the accelerator. We did it. It worked. So the accelerator's working. And here we go. If you haven't played this game, it's quite a bit of fun. There's our path. Heading down to Key West. And here we go. And we'll see how this runs. Now, by the standards of the games we've been looking at, this is incredibly modern. Don't put it in reverse when you're driving. So I'm just trying to find the up gear.
Shift down.
Okay, I found it. So this has all the buttons mapped in a cohesive way. There's the bad guy. It's funny because when I hear his voice in the Dreamcast, doesn't sound like that. He says some other stuff. There you go. Yeah. Well, this is why I don't drive a semi-truck. I would say that was running pretty well. I'm not sure it's running at the best, but not bad. I'm going to try something I know a little more intimately here. We'll try. And I also want to check out the button setup for Marvel vs. Capcom. So here's Marvel vs. Capcom. Now, there's two of these, and I don't know the difference, if I'm honest. So I don't know why that. And there's some of these that are like that. So let's click on that. I'm thinking this is probably the most. Okay, I do remember this. So if you click the other one, it does not say that. So I guess you're getting something. Let's try this one. I believe this one works okay. Stuff loads pretty quickly as well. I've noticed on some of the fighting games on these things, of course, the fighting games use more buttons than your average game. And your mileage may vary. Let's just put it that way. Okay, so I've hit the start button. We'll see how we do here. That looks real speedy. Now let's see what we've got here. Okay, yeah, the buttons on this would need reconfigured to play properly. The buttons on this are not correct. I'm going to try this on the Dreamcast as well and see if they transfer over to that. Oh. But, I mean, it looks like it's running at a pretty good clip to me. Let's see if we can get in my partner here somehow. It's hard to do it with when you don't know the buttons. There we go. Brent, you're an expert. What do you think? Think this is looking okay? You don't like Crazy Taxi? Holy smokes, I love that game. It's dumb and stupid. That's what makes it fun. All right, so that's anyway. There you get the picture there. That's running a good clip there. That's your Naomi. I've not had one of these that didn't work, so I think you're in business. Now we'll move over to Dreamcast. Of course, Dreamcast is going to have quite a bit larger library because there were a lot more things released for the home market. You can see a ton of stuff here. I think my favorite game on this, I mean, it's sort of generic. Whoops, sorry. Would be Soul Calibur, excuse me. Let's try that. Very nice. Some of it also, we've ran a lot of games on the computer without resetting it, so we may be skirting with death here. So let's just try.
Welcome back to the stage of history.
Some of it also could be the fact that it's stretched out. So, okay, this is set up appropriately. They've got this one right. Yeah, that's what you get, son. Why don't we back out and roll this in at the normal res, since we can. I'm sure somewhere there's a master setting for that, but I will have to find it, because that's ultimately what you really want to do. There we go. Let me mosey over here for a minute.
Namco. Welcome back to the stage of history.
Yeah, that looks infinitely better.
Sophia versus Maxi. Battle 1, fight!
Oh, yeah.
This victory strengthened the soul of
Good question.
Sophia. You win!
This is running tippity top here.
Battle 2.
I'm not having any trouble. Oh, you hoser. Oh, you hose it. Oh, all right. No more screwing around with Nunchuck Elvis has to die. Oh. Yeah. I call that a winner. Hi, Dave. We're exploring the 2 terabyte image here. I think Dreamcast, I can't think of a game that taxes the Dreamcast much more than that one. So something tells me you're going to be in good shape on the Dreamcast. There's a few Japanese games I'd like to see added to this list, but got a pretty goodly amount of games on there. Yeah, that might. Let's see if that... you know, me and the Chud beat those games one weekend. It was great. We beat them all. Fire Pro D is in here. Okay. The only one I could think of would be... let me see here. Gauntlet. Would be the... they did a version. I don't think it ever got released. It was a release late. Like, it was released like after Dreamcast was gone. Of Half-Life. That's probably a pretty nasty one. These are all Dreamcast, Mountain. Let me switch back to the...
Midway game.
Again, I did not put this in 4.3. These games sort of get ragged, though, but I think they're kind of fun.
Initials to build a character. Select a character. Welcome, Yellow Archer.
And here we are. Let me in one of these doors, you jerks. There we go. Movies.
The Valley of Fire.
And here we go.
Destroy generators to stop enemies.
So this seems to be looking pretty good, Rob.
Treasure chests.
This game has not aged well, though. It's funny. This was a pretty good-looking game back in the day. This is one of those games that just...
Save keys to open doors and chests. Extra speed.
Oh, yeah. Oh, boy. It's an AMD... I think it's the 5000 series. It's not what I would call a high. It's on a. By the way, this is also running on a mini PC. So this is running on a. Let me see here. I'm trying to think of who makes the PC, but it's a big name mini PC, but it's a. You know, it's not. It was. I bought it a couple years ago, so it's not any great shakes by any stretch of the imagination. But you shouldn't need anything like that to run the majority of this stuff. So we're gonna roll. Let me see what they've got over here. And we haven't done any handheld stuff. Let's go over here to. Well, actually, while we're here, let's try PlayStation Portable. This stuff should be pretty taxing, I'd say. Again, I've not tried any of these, so I'm just gonna pick something here. Archer McLean's Mercury. I don't even remember that. Old Archer. You know, only thing I played on PSP for the most part was like pinball. So I don't have a real. Did they release? They didn't have any of the. What's that beat 'em up everybody loves? Ares, the God of Wars. That wasn't on PSP, was it? Did they appear on here? Let me see here. I think this was too old for those. Yeah. Hot Shots Golf. I have played that. Let's see what's on here. Yeah. Let's play Hot Shots Golf 2. Oh, whoa. That one looks way lamer. I thought there was... What's the sexy one? That's what I remember. All right. Okay. So the... that's working. That's working. Oh dear. Pretty good. Alright. Yeah, this I've not played.
Leave it to me.
Yeah, little geek. This is the PSP version, yes. Oh, look at that. Okay, that looks pretty good.
Ready,
I like that. Okay, so the analog moves around rapidly, and then now I don't know where I'm supposed to be shooting the ball. That moves further away. Oh, I see. That thing's pointing to where I should be shooting the ball. Okay. Okay, so I don't know how to shoot on this, but let's try it. Oh. Yeah, I think I sliced that one. No, no, no. Oh, get out of there. Oh, thank God. Well, he gets down there in a hurry. So, okay, it automatically set the club. I love that. They've got I like what they've got going on here. No.
No.
Well, we're going to chip it in then. Look at that. I mean, they're not reinventing the wheel here, but it's not bad. By the way, the buttons appear to be fine here on this one. 15 foot. Okay.
Nice.
There you go. I call that a winner right there, everybody. I like it, man. Not bad. Let's try one more. Try something really crazy. That was that. I about to say the PSP has. Oh, here we go. LA Rush Showdown. Let's try this. Oh, this is an overhead. Okay. It's an overhead racer. Didn't expect that. No, don't play music, you idiot. You'll get me booted out of here. No, no. No music. All right. Yeah, I'll play Battlefront if it's on there, yeah. All right. Okay. Okay, I guess we're just going to play this one then. It's funny, Brent just delivered to me. Wait a minute, I thought this was an overhead, but it's not. Wow, okay, wow, look at that. By the way, controls, just like they should be, man. See you later, cop. I think I got away with it. Yeah. That control's pretty good. Except for that. I mean, yeah. That's pretty impressive, y'all. The PSP was batting out of its weight class, I think. All right. I call that a winner. Now let's see if Battlefront's on here. Let's see here. Who'd have thought that the Star Wars guy would be asking about Battlefront? I'd never thunk that. Was it under Battlefront or Star Wars Battlefront, you think? Well, it's not under Battlefront. So logic dictates, because I'm an idiot, that it would be under Star Wars. Star Wars Battlefront 2. Would that do it for you? You can't ever watch enough, Josh. Thank you for coming in, brother. I'm going to turn the sound down because the last time I played Star Wars, they screwed me. But I'll tell you if it's awesome or not. The PSP was widescreen, so this is actually working out pretty good. Here we go. Let's see what this dud looks like. All right. Everything looks like, everything stick-wise is where it should be. Okay. Let's take it back. Man, they don't make it easy to get into these stupid games. Add Hoth. Add Hunt. Launch. Here we go. Sorry, I'm dumb, everybody. Select a team. Listen, do you have to ask? Wampa me up, brother. Oh, yeah. Oh, God, can I change the view? That view is not that good. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Oh, yeah. How did we not play this on ARG? You can play as this guy? I'm down. Look at that. You can, let's bash stuff. No, not that. I will say we're having, whoa! Having fun with the camera. And the camera in this is funky. Look at that. That's creepy. Okay. That is weird. Oh, there's a guy. Man, I will never catch this guy. Oh, there he is. Yeah. Yeah. So long, geek. Sadly, this is still better than the new movie. Yeah, the camera in this is real weird. I guess you can get used to it, but I guess it's called the PSP. Didn't have 2 analog sticks, did it? I'm guessing that's what it is. So you're using the button. It says like a surrogate analog. Okay, here we go. Oh, that's one. Is that one of my guys? No, I guess not. This is probably one that you could remap, like go in here and do a remap and make this a lot more fun. This is goofy. What's up, Pac-Man? There you go, Flack. It does work. Whether you'd want it to work or not is a whole different question. So I'm going to give PSP the enthusiastic thumbs up. I think that's working quite well. While we're here, I might as well try the PlayStation since we're playing that stuff. Let's see here. PlayStation games of... Wow, was that a freaking... Oh, that was one of the Midway collections. Because I was like, that looked like Spy Hunter. Let's just pick a winner here. What's up, Retro Gaming Music? What's going on, my friend? We are trying a highly suspect, fairly legit 2 terabyte build that we downloaded from Arcade Punks. It's sketchy, to say the least. And we're just sort of going through here and just trying different stuff. What works, what doesn't work. Let's try some Crash Team Racing. Highly suspect. You got that right. Listen, like I said before, I'm not going to lie to the people. You guys know what this is. You know. It is what it is. Let's see if they've got the joystick set up correctly for this. Oh, yeah. Naughty Dog was on top of the world back in those days, man. You got that right, Groot. I'll give you that, bud. All right. I've played this on the PS2. I don't think I've played the PS1 version. Oh, wow. That's outstanding, RGM. I've just phoned this show in for the most part, but I think the people are used to it by now. Let's see how we do here. Anybody remember playing this one back in the day? By the way, again, if you're late coming in, you're gonna see that yes, these are defaulting to the widescreen. I can change them, but I have not because I have to do it for each individual game. But yeah, you get the idea. If you were to download this package, I'm sure you could do a global change. Okay, let's see if they've got this set up correctly. So that's a reverse view. There we go. All right. Let me see if I can figure out how to throw stuff. Yes. So this appears to be totally fine. You know what's great is the one where I think it's called Twin Sanity, where you have the 2 people in the same one. That's so fun. Ah! That's cute. This looks like it's running quite nicely. It's like Double Dash, but it's with you get 2 of the characters from this guy's expanding universe. Me and the boy team up and play it, and it's a lot of fun because one guy you can tag out, but you switch between one guy being the gunner and one guy being the driver. It's pretty cool. It's funny, I've got a PlayStation sitting here, and I never ever turn it on, but we played it for quite a while back when I first got it. The PlayStation 1 is supposed to be the King Dong of consoles, and it may be. I'm not ragging on it, but it's one I never knew anyone that had one, and never really knew much about the games, because most of the people I knew had like the Xbox, and the Dreamcast. And when the PS2 came out, I kind of like, I don't want to say I got out of consoles, but I just, I was never like a console guy, but I had a bunch of consoles. Does that make any sense? I mean, I bought consoles after the fact, though. I don't have I've got a bunch now, but I didn't have that many when they came out. This seems to be doing quite nicely, though. Yeah, the PS1 is a funny machine. It does mark a big change in the way home gaming was, because you do get a lot of like older type titles and a ton of more innovative title stuff that would grow into the future. I mean, it's because when you put that many titles on a machine, you're going to get a lot of stuff. I mean, if you think about how many titles were out for the PS1 and 2, it's a ludicrous amount. Am I winning yet? Yeah. How many laps I got? Like, I'm going to take this thing to the house, and then we'll try something else. Like I said, fellas, if there's any kind of game, no matter how bizarre, and on a system, no matter how wacky, I'll be willing to give it a shot. The ones that so far we just straight up can't play are Apple and Apple II GS. Oh, I should show you what's going on with the PET. Yes, we'll do that after this. How did I come in second? Dadgummit. Not bad. I gotta send that Groot. Virtual Racer, good choice. We'll try that one. So that right there is your PS, and I think you're gonna be good to go on that one. It seems all the buttons seem to be working. Let me show you guys what's going on with the PET real quick. I think it's up here. And then we'll try virtual. By the way, we have the entire width and breadth of the arcade to select from as well. I think I mentioned that. But yes, all the arcade games are here. And so those are available. Don't let me miss this. Don't let me miss Commodore PET here. Here it is. Okay, so the PET has a limited selection. Now, I have played some PET, okay? And your mileage will vary on that. But so I'm just going to pick a generic game, okay? Star Wars for the PET, okay? Let's even pick more. Let's play Space Invaders. So here's Space Invaders. And I think what's happening here is it's in the wrong graphics mode. You'll see what I mean. It's doubling things up here. So I've hit enter. Yeah, no kidding, Steve. How's it going, Steve, by the way? So here is your flavor text. Of course, you don't use a joystick on this thing. Press any key to start, player 1. So here we go. Now look at this. See how it's split like that? I think that maybe it's in the wrong character mode or something. Someone that knows more about pets, 40 or 80 column. That's what I'm thinking, Super Tech Boy. You just read my mind. I suspect there's a way to get this into the right mode, but I don't know how to do it. This one doesn't respond to the use of the tab key. Yeah, you think that's what it is, Josh? Josh, I'm glad you're here. I had a feeling that's what it would be. So there's probably a button or something to get it in the right mode. You know, let me try hitting some function keys and see if we can change something. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be working. So anyway, that's what I get on the PET. I get that with every game. Every game that I've tried does that. I sometimes have trouble getting out of the PET, too. It gets a little dicey. Let me see if I can get us out of here. Sometimes I have to completely reboot the system. Try player 2's joystick. See, this one is not letting me leave. So that's fine. I'll just reboot the system, and you guys can see what it looks like when it boots up. For those that missed it, I'm going to bend over here for a second. I hate to force it, but I'm going to have to. You really don't want to turn these things off like that, but there you go. So the PET, that's no dice right there. You're not going to get that one to work, I'm afraid. Okay. Well, a lot of it depends on what they've done to this thing, though, because they've changed the majority of this stuff. I should turn this off, but I just never do. So there you go. Let me turn my joystick back on. So, your apples and your pets. Yes, I have seen that, Happy. By the way, good to see you, Hap. I'm very excited about that. I don't think that hurts anyone. I think that helps everyone. We'll see the compatibilities there. I'd be interested to see what they're using in place of the FPGA that I'm aware of, if I'm honest. I'm going to roll up here to the arcade, and I'm going to try your Virtual Racer. So, on this machine, you know, most of the stuff will run as you would expect. But when you get into the dicier stuff, like especially your classic computers, you know, bring a packed lunch. You're probably going to be getting into it. There we go. So we're going to be, whoops. We're going to be going way down here, all the way to the end. If you played a game every hour for the rest of your life, I don't think you could get through a list like that. It's quite amazing. Let's see here. I'm not sure I can even run Virtual Fighter or Virtua Racing through here, so we'll find out. If I can, I know where I can. So yeah, we're gonna have to go to the old AM2, which is fine. We can do that. We'll get to the Sega area here. Here we go. So I believe it could. I think it's run out of here. Daytona. I'm not. It may be the one before this one. Let's look. Oh nope. Virtua. Cop. So it must be the one before that one. Oh God. Is that Model 3? I thought this is the newer one. Anybody remember the chipset that it ran out of? It's been a long time since I actually loaded up the arcade version of this. God, I'm getting old, man, and I'm losing it. Just for fun, let's play the Mega Drive version with the. Let's see if they actually included it because it required special hardware. Let's see if it's on here. Virtual Racing. Let's give it. Of course, it's on the Dream. It's on the Saturn, of course, and. I was always impressed with this, but the problem was the additional cartridge cost so much money. All right, start button worked. Joystick seems to be working okay. Look at that. I've got the audio turned down, but I can turn it up. It's there. It was because my streams keep getting hosed. I'm trying not to get in trouble with the man. So when we were playing that Star Wars stuff earlier, I was like, oh, we'll turn that down. Yeah, I turned it up. Okay. It's funny that you have to hit start. Oh, man. We should have ran this at 4x3, y'all. All right, analog stick works, and the gas works. And we're in business. Man, this does not stretch well. It just looks like a mass of pixels. I will say I have not tried the Saturn yet, so maybe we'll go try that. I will say I've tried more stuff than I had tried in the time that I've had this, and I'm actually pleasantly surprised. A good chunk of the stuff works without incident. You know, and some of the other stuff, I mean, you know, some of the stuff I'm not that surprised. And your mileage is like, for example, the only things available for the Coco are cartridge games. I've made a build for coin ops that had like cartridge and disc games, but it was no easy task to pull off. So if you're expecting the Coco to have like every game. And I'd say a lot of console or a lot of computers are like that. They probably just got all the stuff that was released on cartridge. I haven't tried like the Atari 8-bit yet, for example, or the C64. C64 might have, it's a little more advanced. They might have more stuff on there. This is running well, I mean, for what it's worth. Brakes? Are you kidding me, Groot? That's for suckers. Does anyone own this cartridge? I'd be interested to know. It was so expensive back in the day. And double points if you actually bought this when it was released. That would be real impressive. Yes. That's pretty much what I do, Rob. I do like this angle better. My buddy in Charleston has a, like, I think it's like 4 or 5 of these. All chained up, and you can play them all together. Man, it's a lot of fun. We used to, back when I haven't seen this guy for years, but I was really impressed. He had him on his basement. I don't know how he got him down there. And he had little TVs on top of them so you could watch the race if you weren't participating. And they were all the set downs too. My God, how many laps do I got to go? That's good enough for me right there. Yeah, happy. Those days are over. I don't know if you caught this during the Amigos, but Boat was pricing that RAM part at like 6 G's. So, I mean, it's madness. Well, let's see if they've got the Saturn on here, because I'm looking and I don't see it. Naomi, Dreamcast, the Model 3. I don't see the Saturn, everybody, so we may not have a Saturn on here. How strange. That is a real head scratcher. Do you guys remember seeing the Saturn when I went through all these at the beginning? That's a strange one. So that's an oversight. That is one you're probably going to want to add. I don't think adding games would be that tough once you figure out what you're doing. Let's try a Mega Duck game while we're here. Oh, we played Socrates earlier. It's a Socrates. It's a educational system from the 80s. I actually own one of those. Oh, are you kidding me, Groot? Let's see if we can get this thing to start. So far, it is not starting. Let's see if we can use tab here. We can. So this is running off MAME, which means we can go through here and change the input assignments on this. Let's do it, just to demonstrate how it's done. And then we will... I think that might be all I have to do. Let's see if that does it. Yep. I'll show you. And so here you go. This is working. This is like a Bomberman clone, as I recall. Man, I'm not good at this thing either. We'll go through them again, Rob. Maybe I missed it, but you'd think it would be with the other Sega properties. Oh, no. Hey, Mega Duck works with a little tweak on the startup. Not too bad. Let's see if we can find this stupid thing. I hate to do this to you guys again, but we're going to go through all these. And you guys, if you see the Saturn, we'll try it. So there's the... Okay, there's the AM2, Model 3, Naomi, Sega Classics. This is an arcade. Maybe this is the one that had... no, I was going to see if that had Virtua. Did not. These are just the categories. We'll come back to those Acorns here in a minute and let you have a look at those Super Tech. You guys yell if you see it. It's not there. Yeah, I don't think it's there. I don't think it's there. Yeah, it's not there. So what we'll have to do is, there's a good chance that they've mislabeled something. That's why it's not showing up. That's a gimmick for another time. That's a gimmick for another time. Sega, is that the Sega Saturn arcade board? Well, let's look there. Did we see a Titan back here? Did I miss that? It was up here. Thank God we got so many knowledgeable folks in here. They can, with a keen eye, they can spot this stuff. All right, let's get back up into this stuff here. All the way past these. I'm sure there's an easier, quicker way to do this, but I don't know it yet. I haven't learned all the shortcuts. So, is this what you're talking about? Happy? It's the only thing I saw that I didn't recognize. But these are all emulated MAME. These look like, yeah, this is all arcade stuff. So that's not it. That ain't, I mean, I'm not saying that's not the one, but it's not the one that has any Sega games, any Saturn games in it. Let's roll down here to the, somebody asked about the BBC. So let's have a go at we'll have a try at BBC. Let's just go with the old BBC Micro. It'd be awesome if this would just work right out of the gate. Someone said Boulder Dash earlier. Let's give this a shot. Okay. I sure hope it types. Yeah, no kid picks. The problem is I've already played a TI game. Okay. I like that. It even has a thing at the bottom that sort of tells you which of the keyboard locks are on. So I'm going to assume this is probably a keyboard game since this is the BBC. So we see it's clearly saying cheat. No. Enter. Oh God, that's some nightmare fuel right there. All right, so I'm assuming I'm going to be using the keyboard on this one. Hit space to resume. Oh, I was pausing it there. Well, let's see how we move this guy. Anyone recall the controls on the old Micro? Because it's probably using keyboard, and it's probably wanting weird keys to move the little guy. Boulder Dash, not my game. Let me pick something I'm a little more familiar with. Although you can look at these menus. Here we go. Chucky Egg. This one I know. Take it easy, RGM. Thanks for popping in, man. Congratulations on your stream. Okay. I like that. I mean, someone's put some work into this. Press S to start and K to change keys. Let's change the keys. Okay. Up, down, left, right. Jump. There we go. And then S to start. 1. Yeah, Chucky Egg, man. I'm not too keen to play with this little keyboard, but I'm doing it. Boy, climbing. There we go. This also running out of MAME, which means you could easily map this to a joystick if you wanted to, which is good. I figured this would be one of the ones. So, the more I see that tab work, the happier I am. Oh, he caught me. Yeah. So there you go. I'm going to call that a winner, ladies and gentlemen. Chucky Egg. So I'd say the BBC Micro, I think you can get some action on the BBC Micro. And I'm guessing if it plays the Micro, it'll pretty much play the entirety of the BBC collection. I want to show you guys the Archimedes. And just to show you what you're getting yourself into if you try this one. This is going to take a little bit of work. I've always been interested in the Archimedes, to be honest with you. But these things don't just load up and you're good to go. These load up to a desktop, and then you have to sort of do some work. Now, the good news is the mouse works. You can sort of double click on that, and there's James Pond, right? And then you double click on that, and you're in business. Now, you're not in business when it comes to controlling the games, because I've been able to load every game I've tried, but I've not been able to control them very well. And you can see that one failed, but there's another one, so I'd wager one of the two of these will work. Sometimes there are two because you'll use one with one emulator and one with the other one. Let's try this again, see if it'll work on this one. I haven't tried James Pond yet, so. All right, the last of those was a glitch right here, and then it crashed. Let's see if it does it again. Yep, there's the glitch, and there's the crash. So, yeah. Oh, man. I love this song, but that's not a good thing to be playing right now. Okay, turn that down. Oh, God, Zool. Yeah, let's try that. A second here. Let me, see if we can get this to work. We're going to be winding it up here, so if you've got anything that I haven't played yet that you'd like to see, now's the time. And if you have any questions that I can help you with, now's the time. I'll try to help you as best I can. So this one, the mouse is not working on this one. So there you go. Again, your mileage is going to vary on these more wacky systems. I've got no doubt that you can get this to work, but you're going to have probably some knowledge of how the emulator works. So I would call Archimedes, I consider that one a miss for now. Okay, so someone asked for Sega CD. Good choice. I have not tried Sega CD yet, so. Did I miss it? I did not. I was just thinking, if they've got Saturn games here, we just aren't seeing the listing. We might be able to go into one of the areas that have games grouped and see if we see any Sega Saturn games. We'll try that. Here we go. And what was the request on this one? Let's see here. Wirehead, okay. Do not have Wirehead. So we'll try one that I love since we're here. One of my favorite games. Eternal Champions. The CD version. It's super bad. This is one of the few. This is the only Sega CD game that I own. And I don't own a Sega CD, so shows you how much I like this one. They did everything. They took all the stuff from Eternal Champions and made it 10 times cooler. Yeah, the movies are like that too, Rob. All right. This is a long, drawn-out open. This has got... Can I skip that? Yes. We'll just get one cooking here. This looks good. And by the way, I'm going to turn it up so you can hear it. But sometimes they take the music out of these CDs, but this has got it. By the way, I hate when they do that. If you're not familiar with this game, This is a fighting game that this is sort of Sega's answer to Street Fighter, except beautiful with and really original. And then they just got rid of it for whatever reason. I don't know why they did it. Try to get these controls down. That looks good. I mean, I'm getting killed, but this game is not easy either. I mean, you really have to. Man, and the deaths in this has deaths, but they're in like the right spot, basically. Can I not move? Oh, okay. So this one is gonna have to have the joystick set up on it. It's actually I can't move. I don't know why I was doing so horribly. Let's see if we can. No, we'll have to set the joystick up on this one. So you know what that means? Figuring out what the emulator they're using. So let's say we wanted to do that, just for your own, in case you were wondering. If you hold the select button down for a long time, you get this. Then you can get into advanced game options, and you can look. Okay, here are the emulators they're using. It's good. Genesis Plus GX and the Libretto Pico. It's using one of those too, so we can just go and look and see how you change the controls in those, and figure it out. Same thing with the aspect ratio. But but it looks like those are working with a caveat on the joystick of those. So let's try one more thing here, just for fun. Trying to think of a category that would have Genesis or have a Sega Saturn in it that we would absolutely know for sure. We move all the way up here to the categories. Because it is strange that they wouldn't have those games in there. Let's look under fighting games. There's a ton of. So this has a list of all the games, and it also has what system they're on. So I'm going to look through here. PS, main. So we're going to hit a Marvel, because I'm sure I'll have Marvel vs. Capcom on here for that system. Or here's some other ones here that would have the Fighting Vipers. So PC Engine, Dreamcast. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything on here from the old Saturn. So I'm going to guess the Saturn is not in the list. Not in the list of that one. So there you go. Well, I think that's a good place to call her a night. I'd like to thank everybody for hanging. I hope you found this at least entertaining or informative. And if you missed any of it, you're interested in what is this? Where did he get it? How does it work? What do you do? I talked about all that stuff at the beginning of the stream, so you can kind of go back and check it out and see what's for you. It's just sort of a layman's job. I'm not here to push this collection, by the way. I want to reiterate this. I'm just here to show you what it's like when you download a ridiculously huge mystery file just to see what happens. I mean, I don't recommend it. By the way, another thing you might want to know is this file was made a year ago. So there may be newer, better files, but this is the biggest and newest one I can find on Arcade Punks to try out. And your mileage may vary. In terms of the system you're going to need to run these, I'd say the majority of this stuff will run on most systems. When you get into the higher end stuff, you might need something of a little jack. But everything you saw tonight ran on a mini PC that has, onboard graphics and whatnot. So I mean, it was a very expensive and good mini PC when I bought it. But I mean, by today's standard, I'd say it's middle of the road. So there you go. How long did it take me to download it? About a day. Happy, maybe even longer. And how long did it take me to unarchive it? That was another day. And then it took me another day to put the image on a hard drive with the USB. That's something else. If you're gonna save yourself some time, once you have the image ready to be put on the drive, just stick the drive in your machine. Don't use the USB. That was dumb. But I was in a hurry. I don't have to open my machine up and fiddle with it. So I was like, I'll just use USB. That was dumb. Don't waste like a day or two. Wait for this thing to uncompress on your machine. That was dumb. But yeah, once you get started, you can see, I mean, listen, we all know you could go buy these drives. I've seen places that are selling like 8, 10, 20 terabytes of, storage full of this stuff for like hundreds of dollars. But again, know what you're getting. There's no one that's going to sell you one of these that's going to be completely ironed out. especially if you're into the weird stuff. If you just want to play consoles, you're probably okay. But if you want to play the Gamut or the Socrates, you're going to have to get in there and fiddle with it. But, you know, I guess pretty much common sense at this point. All right, fellas, I will keep you guys in the loop for the next time we try one of these kind of crazy. I might try another one of these image ones. I've got another one downloaded here that I haven't tried yet, and it's from a whole different guy, and it's a whole different image. So we may give that one a whirl somewhere down the line. Hope you'll tune in to see me and the Brent on Sunday morning at 10 a.m. for ARG Presents. This week, actually, we're doing the Coco Show, so that should be a lot of fun. We'll be back on ARG Presents next week. And please check out everyone who entered the Pod Jam. It was great. We appreciate that. And also, please get your tickets for Boat Fest. Should be a lot of fun this year. Thanks, everybody. Nice meeting some of you. We'll catch you guys on the Flippy. Until next time, adios.